We're a little late, but Commissioner Simon is here. If you need time to catch up, we're gonna, first thing is talk about the treasurer's 6 months probation period, and she's actually the deputy treasurer, so here to talk about the position status and pay in that regard.
So, I did give you a job description. It's not, I don't know if it's totally complete, but it covers most of the duties that Shirley is currently doing and has been learning over the last 6 months. Her progress is excellent. She's learning the position. It's a little challenging because there is so much information, but she's working through it. We had real good procedures, so a lot of it she may not understand the full scope of what she's doing, but she's working through the procedures and getting the jobs done. She's excellent with customers. The office as a whole is the best it's been since I've been here. We're all working very well together. I'm very thankful for that and would seriously like to give her a raise to be able to, some incentive to stay and continue in the position that she's in. That's why I'm here. I'm not sure what numbers you want. You know, ideally, if I could go 72.5%, and that would increase her wage to $14.24. But I don't know what you need for me to increase that. It is in my budget from my calculations. There's enough excess in my budget for a raise, $8.53 raise, which I know is not even possible.
What numbers do you have then for the remaining salary budget? Because I asked Jessica and she thought that there was enough for a raise, but not that much, so I don't know what numbers you have.
Well, so the total salary remaining is $43,010.10.
How much has been used thus far then? Or what was the original appropriation to have $43,000 left now?
$97,687, and we're at the end of December we were at 48%. So there's a 2% there that hadn't been used, and it should be a little bit more than that by the end, because the first month we were paying
Shandell
at a higher wage and Dawn, and then there was a little bit of severance pay. I'm assuming the termination leave, that $823. I don't know if that was like a month's wage or what that was that was paid. So my figuring there is the additional amount still in budget, so I would still be using what budget I had.
this one? Yeah, I think we need to do something to help you and Shirley. I'm just trying to figure out the numbers so it, because I talked to Jessica and she just said, well, of course it can always be revisited again in July when we have a new budget, but I just want to make sure we don't overextend what she estimates versus what you estimate.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the expense budget versus actual. And that compares then to previous years.
Pardon me?
What I'm looking at is the expense budget versus actual.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I'm getting the numbers of what's been committed, what was appropriated, and what the monthly commitment is, and what's been unexpended.
So if we have basically 5 months left, and your salary subtracted from that, and then whatever additional amount we could give her. And so you come up with how much,
If we're doing,
if everything stayed the same right now, what would the overage be in July for the salary?
there wouldn't be any overage. What I figure is that I had an excess in salaries.
Well, that's what I mean. What overage excess would you have by the, come July 1?
The hourly amount or a dollar amount? Like, excess of budget would be $7,800.
$7,800.
Uh-huh. And looking back when I had the budget meeting in July, and that was that, to revisit it now, and that money would be put in. So I'm thinking somehow Jessica built that money into the budget already. At least that's what what was discussed then back in July, July 22nd. And I got that video from Mary because it wasn't on the YouTube. Revisit and listen to that again here this last week.
See if Jessica answers the phone, so then.
Right, you get an updated one from Nicole.
Oh. So, 68% of that, 59% of that, 70% of that. Uh, 12 even, actually. It's almost probably.
And I know Claudia's not on the table, but I'm hoping we can do something for the low-end clerks, because she's much more than a clerk. I just can imagine the office without her. And she's making such a low amount, and she is in poverty level with her and her kid. She deserves more.
She really does. Take some of the big responsibility.
Is she here today?
Well, no, not down here.
Oh,
Did you try around or so?
yeah, well, I thought I had her. Is it a 649 number? Or
Yeah, I think so.
maybe I'll text her.
Better look at it last time. So, 206.
Yeah. see what Lori comes back with on her up-to-date thing, and then we'll see if Jessica calls back.
Is she gonna be in today? Do we know?
No, I don't think so.
Dwayne said that he thought she'd be available on the phone today, but not in here in the courthouse.
Okay.
Will that RPO then have a date on it, Mary, so that you know if it's a
We either have quarterly.
Quarterly.
Or we have end of the year. And that's nice and big, but like I said, depending on where they put it, you're gonna have to stop them to see it anyway. Because that was one of the bigger complaints, is where do you put both of those plates, and they were in windows, and
That's what they, right now, is they're getting a month in salaries, and this is what they have left.
Oh, there's Jessica right now. Jessica Wabbit. Good. So we're here trying to decide on a percentage for the deputy treasurer. And Lori just ran off the numbers, so it looks like that the original appropriation for salaries was $97,687, and so in left right now is 43,000. Or that's what's spent. What's that committed?
So
That's
that's what's left, correct?
43,310.
This is what's available.
Did I lose you? Oh, okay. The other phone rang, and I thought, oh, maybe. Yeah. So, we're trying to see how much we can
All right, thank you.
allow without,
Okay, thank you.
busting the budget on salary, so. And I know when you and I talked, I thought, I understood, what the amount would be, but Mary's saying that there's probably gonna be around $7,800 left in her salary budget by July 1, so, I didn't know if that allowed for more upward mobility then, or do you think that number's not the same one you thought it would be? So it would be at $14.24. So it'd be a $2.24 increase in revenue. And there's what, 900 hours left in the year, something like that. Or the budget year. That would be 72.5%. Yeah. And what do you, besides the salary, what kind of is a ballpark on top of that, FICA, retirement, et cetera? How does that involve a salary? Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, well, thanks for getting back to us. No, that's okay. Okay, thank you. Bye. Well, Jessica said she didn't have the numbers in front of her, and that you probably might very well be right, but she just is worried that we don't want to go over budget, so she said maybe you guys should be more conservative, so. So, well, I don't know what Dwayne and Lori are thinking, but.
So what I was looking at is, right now, they've been spending about a little over $7,000 a month in salaries.
Mhm.
So if you take that with 5 months left, that's $35,449.10,
Mhm.
and you've got $43,310
Mhm.
left in the budget, so that's $7,861.
Mhm.
So how many hours in the month? Or
2,080 in a year.
yeah, but what was left? Did you? I thought you said.
Oh, that was
how
off the top of
many
my
was
head,
left
but yeah, there's basically
880 or what's left, but
880.
But even with that excess amount that you're saying, that's still enough to, I mean, that's enough money to be able to cover the 1424 in
Mhm.
my figuring.
She's making 12 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm more concerned if you go lower now, there's just not gonna be the money for more later. Because it's been, at least in the recent past, we go more years without raises than with raises, so I would rather be up a little bit and then,
Mhm.
because if you're only given a 2% or something from there forward.
Mhm.
She's worked hard. I think she deserves it. for
Well, I
sure.
think she
She's
deserves
been
it,
here a
too.
long time.
Yeah. So what if we did do just a little more conservative instead of doing 1424? What if we would just went $14? Did $2 instead of.
So if we drop it a percentage from Mary's recommendation of 72.5, 71.5% would be 1404.
And that's not true about freezes, Mary, because we've only froze 3 times.
In the
And I've
last
been-
5 years?
I've
Seems
been-
like
no,
it. Oh.
no. I've done
This is
8 years.
Yeah. This
so
is the first
that-
freeze since I've been commissioner, so.
Okay.
We did the first 2 years.
And with the
Those are
hard-
the ones you remember, not
Yep,
the.
there they are.
And with the hard decisions last summer, you know, the hope is that the budget will get under control where the few employees we still have working here will be better. I mean, we don't want to, we hope that we don't have to do a freeze again because like you said,
Yeah.
and that's why when we had the opportunity for a raise. Claudia, those under 10, we all wanted to give them 70 cents an hour, where we else got 50. We're trying to get those, of course, that makes some people unhappy anyway.
Yeah,
No,
well.
pleasing some people. You know, everybody agrees that they need more money, but then when we give it to them, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Even though they're already making $4 or $5 more an hour than Claudia anyway.
Yeah.
But, and even when, you know, this isn't technically a raise because this is just
Yeah.
a deputy's percentage based on yours, so
Right.
She's
we,
going
you know,
to actually appoint a deputy now, or she's.
yeah.
She, yeah,
Because-
it was from the start, that's what we hired her for. but-
Right.
Right, yeah.
But you said at that time, we have no track record to see how.
Right.
She gonna like it, we're gonna work together.
Well, my point being is that even if there was a freeze, which there is now, we can still compensate a deputy because it's not a pay increase. It's a job description adjustment in their office. So I guess what I'm saying is that we can always revisit to go higher even when there's a freeze going on like we are right now.
Okay.
So any deputy that is worthwhile and valuable that can be revisited. So I don't know. I kind of like Dwayne's idea where it's not the full 72.5, but it's going to be $2.04 more at 71.5%.
And then come
And
budget
then-
time, we can see where the budgets are.
And try to make it
Try to-
more to where she really ought to be too, and
Yeah.
Claudia. And
Yeah.
And I heard she didn't like her job anyway.
We really do have a good team.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm very
That's
thankful.
good.
I'm very
Mhm.
thankful.
Okay.
So are you good with that then for now?
Pardon?
$2 or is it? or
204.
204
Mhm. Yes.
for now, and then,
Mhm.
And then remind us. in
come
July.
budget
Oh, yeah.
time, then we can.
I'm sure you will.
Get a couple of them sticky notes around.
Right. Just some subtle hits along the way.
Mhm.
Can we thank you for,
Do we need a motion? or
Yeah, we
anything?
probably need, somebody want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion that we, after the 6-month probation period of Shirley, that we increase her wage to be, or the deputy wage, what was it?
71.5%.
71.5% of the treasurer's salary.
Okay.
Would second that motion.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Shirley.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shirley.
Here, and we got Mary Yarnell and Emily and Lori, me, Dwayne, Casey.
Rick?
Did we
That's
need,
great.
did we need Ellen? She's upstairs, or is that not?
Well, she was supposed to be preparing the contract, and she's part of the board, so,
Mhm.
She was busy earlier.
She was doing,
oh, okay.
she was doing a search
Well-
warrant 2 hours ago. I don't know if she's still occupado or not, but.
Well, I guess we can go ahead and approve it and inform her if that's okay with the board,
Okay.
or consider it anyway. That's up to you guys whether you approve it, so.
I was gonna say, aren't you assuming a lot
I am,
to
I
approve
am.
it?
Yeah.
Is this one of those green stamp things?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mr. Debris is kinda hard to hear.
Yeah.
That's good, that's good.
That's okay. He's just poking the bear a little bit, so if you don't know it, then that's fine.
You know what he's saying anyway, Kevin, you know it.
Yeah, I got the context of what he was saying, unfortunately. I was gonna say it's kinda nice that it's hard to hear him, so, but I didn't say that, so.
Yeah,
Oh.
You wouldn't want him to take offense.
No, not in any way.
So Kevin, I was looking, it looks like we've got some fairly good collateral, which sometimes we don't always have in these cases.
I think it's probably one of the better positions we've ever had as far as it's going to be improved real estate, because we'll have the piece with the building that's going to be built, so we will have the property plus the building and the improvements on that property. And then he's given us the gravel pit, which is next to it, plus the equipment that he's purchasing. So that's a conservative number, that 258,
Yeah.
in terms of the value. So I think we're one of, like you say, one of the better positions we've ever been in.
And this new shed or garage, then they think they can use that for the shooting sports then?
Yeah, that was part of the intention. They really having challenges with the 4-H building, and part of it's not necessarily the building, or it's just it'll get rented out from under them, and there's no communication. Then they have to come in and take things down, or they have to set up for air rifle, and then air rifle has to take everything down, and then archery comes in, and archery has to set up, and then archery has to take everything down, and so it's really wearing on our leaders. So that's some of the impetus for this, is to provide a place for it. And so the other part of it is that just for his own personal use, and potentially 4-H eventually, they're getting into small bore, which is 22 rifle, and because that's basically what the Olympic level and the collegiate level shoots at. So Jonna is back, I think today she's shooting a rimfire match, small bore match they call it, in Fort Benning, Georgia today. So they're competing at that level, and they're kind of pushing some of these limits. And so Donnie was looking forward to having a place like that where they could leave things set up and be able to practice.
And what about then insurance? If that's not in the 4-H building and it's on someone's private property, is there?
4-H, the insurance for 4-H is intrinsic to 4-H. It's not attached to a building. And we would probably, the 4-H council would probably take on a lease for like $1 or something to release him of any personal liability. And then the activity itself of shooting sports is already covered under the state blanket policy that we're operating under now. It's not attached to the county in any way.
Sounds like a good deal then for them.
Yeah.
So I looked through it, maybe I forgot, is his, maybe I found the page for the payments set up and all that, or?
Yeah, it's he wanted to skip because January, February is usually his time when he's basically shut down due to weather being outdoor construction. His hope is, that I was sharing with Dwayne yesterday when he called, was that he's hoping to get something in those 2 months that will allow him to keep his current staff on, and that's where the full-time positions come in. And he's working on a couple different things that are kind of confidential at this point, but he's looking at ways to expand the time that he's allowed to have his staff on board. So.
Okay. So in the write-up too, I saw Kevin where he said, by having this shop will allow him to work a little bit more year-round, working on equipment. What kind of, does he take on other jobs? Is he a mechanic out there, or is he talking about just greasing up his own?
No, it's going to be more of he's trying to find something with a manufacturing base, cabinet work, or refining. One of the business things is to rough out gun stocks out of the large blocks of hardwood that are then sent off and treated, and he's basically adding value to a blank. And that's one of the things he's looking at now. And the other he was considering was truss manufacturing, which I'm not sure about that one, but he said for pole buildings he could certainly have enough space in there to build the trusses locally and save some money. Or at least employ the money locally rather than buying them out of Missoula.
Right.
And then, so he could basically pay the difference to his own people versus giving it to another entity in Missoula. So That was his, a couple of the things. He's got a few other ones that he didn't share, but he's looking at several different angles in which he can basically expand the variety of things that they're capable of as MIH construction. So.
Anybody else have any questions for Kevin?
No, I don't think so. I think it looks pretty good, Kevin.
I do too.
I'm very comfortable with it, just working with Donnie for the past 4 or 5 years with 4-H, and he's done construction on my own property and built my own pole barn, and all, you guys know him as well, and I've just been always very impressed with what he says he does, and I sense that same level of commitment to repaying the revolving loan fund in Mineral County, so.
I'd make a motion to approve the loan as set forth in the documents.
Second.
Okay, Mary Arnell made a motion, Mr. Debris seconded to grant this loan to make it MIH construction. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Being none? Okay. I have
This is
the
still like-
gigantic check here too, Kevin, so I guess I'll sign it and give it to Emily, huh?
Yeah, and then she'll take it up to the attorney, and when she gets the contract completed, Donnie will go up there, sign the contract with them, and then she will issue the check. That way she knows everything has been taken care of. We'll be filing the liens against the property and the UCCs on the equipment after it's purchased to confirm our collateral position.
Okay, so it's, just to reiterate, it's okay for me to put the second signature on this check at
Correct.
this point in time? Okay.
Yeah, and then it'll go to the county attorney, and it'll be in her possession until everything is signed.
Okay. I kind of walked over top of you, Mary. What were you going to say? I interrupted.
That's what I was wondering, because I didn't say anything about the contract
Oh,
in the
oh.
motion, if that was,
Okay.
but I think you answered that, so we're good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Appreciate all your time and all your consideration.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one. Have a watch out for the crazies in Missoula.
No worries. That's a constant issue. So you guys have a great day.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
See you
Kevin.
later.
Okay, bye.
Give these back.
Unless it's something else, I would
Well,
move we
it's just
adjourn.
it's got Donnie's
Private.
Private stuff.
stuff on there.
Second that.
I guess we can give it to Casey and she can throw it in the shredder
Yeah, yeah,
thingy.
yep.
Chairman Roman,
Yeah.
it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn.
Oh. All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Interestingly enough, I'll show you this law.
The local post. Okay.
And well, another thing is he didn't come anyway, so whether he didn't see the agenda or whatever, so it didn't really get addressed. But the other thing too is we were, maybe you can shed some light on, and I haven't been down there for a while, but on the map, on the cadastral, that piece of ground is like 3 acres, 2.87 acres.
It's a long-
Wade's not here, you can
It's
see.
a long, narrow strip.
Yeah.
They got from John Cochran, I think
Mhm.
he gifted it to them, right?
Right, so like here's the building, and then, you know, so, and some of it goes across the road. It's a weird thing.
Oh,
So I don't know if,
so the county easement, or what is it?
yeah, that's the Mill Creek, yeah, I don't know why they have land on the other side of it, but,
Well, maybe the layers are off because there's kind of a corridor between, maybe the road is supposed to be
And that's the other thing, I wanted Tim to be here today, but he's gone.
He's gone,
So
okay.
since Carol didn't show up and Tim was gone, and then,
Couldn't do much.
and so, I think they should be doing it too, but given it's such a large piece of ground, is there any way, if we had carved off, is it just usable, or is it just too narrow and skinny for the thing?
Basically, the building takes up about half the width of the lot.
Really?
And then there's a well,
There's parking.
there's a wellhead, and then I presume they tied into town sewer, so I'm not causing any. Not causing any of that. And then this is just parking area. Yeah, it's just kind of parking and then no man's land, and people turn around and drop off litter and post and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, no, it really isn't.
Not a, cause I know like there's, what is there, a little cabin or something in that spot, a little small
This one
cabin
is,
house.
this one is a home right across from Vince's shop. Might not be year-round residence. There are some people that have a big motorhome parked there and a livable home, maybe some outbuildings.
Mhm.
And then this one is the Rich Wired place.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that name?
I remember that name.
And there's a new couple in there from Ellensburg or Yakima, named the Hansons, that are living there and are getting upgrades done to it.
Hmm.
So yeah, those are good, both good occupants.
But no such thing you don't think could happen here because,
Well, I kind of still think it might be a mapping error, because the Forest Service had the same problem with the layers, all the different layers come together, and because Tim he's mentioned that upstairs too, when he's brought things up to look at together, that sometimes the road layer isn't exactly where it should be relative to the land line. So that's a Tim question. You know, about the only space there'd be left on this thing, like if somebody put a little, I don't know, like a fireworks stand or something.
yeah.
There really isn't much room there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just got dirt, weeds, rocks, looks kind of rough. Place needs a little landscaping, maybe they'll get around to that, you know, make it a little more homey looking. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what, I mean, you always kind of hate seeing more private ground go off the tax roll, but,
yeah.
I mean, that's,
Well,
the
if we
cause,
can-
it's just funny, there's such a large tract of land.
If we can get Lookout Pass figured out, that'll bring some money in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna head over to the Forest Service next, and I need to get a current map of the proposal for their expansion. 'Cause I couldn't find it in my clutter at home. I'm sure it's there, but I might as well start over with a fresh map. Okay, the other thing I had was the Lobo Loop. The county cooperated on having it chip sealed, an L shape to access the community center. Okay. And we all agreed it would become a public road and that the county would maintain it. Okay. And it was not plowed by the county this winter. I know they were busy, for sure. We had to do it any way we could. Fire department did it with some of their equipment. Our contractors that plowed us out helped. And it was a kind of a team effort to keep that access open. For the senior center, for the community center functions, of which there are many. The sewer plant, the lift station needs access in there. Fire department needs access on Lobo Loop. And the senior center official access is the back way on Lobo Loop. It's not wiggling through from the front past the old subway and down that little alleyway there.
they get it back behind the community center way.
That's the official access, because that other little sideway, it's actually part of Schwaderer's. It's either Cliff Stevens' lot or Schwaderer's. It doesn't even belong to the seniors. And so there is no official easement for anybody to drive through there. And the owners could could just say, no, we're not
Like a
gonna,
box, yeah.
they could pinch that off, yeah.
Hmm.
So the official access is around the back.
Mhm.
And for some reason, the county, when they chip sealed, they stopped. They didn't go to the right landline
Mm.
when they stopped.
Did they do that last summer?
Oh, no, this is like probably 3 or 4 years ago, whenever.
Oh.
Because the community council paid for the oil. We had an agreement that the community council would pay for the oil, the county would do the work
Mhm.
with their equipment and chips or whatever. And so I thought that was a fair,
Mhm.
kind of a contribution. But they basically forgot to plow it. And when the county berm, or the state highway berm got so bad a couple times that a lot of people couldn't drive in there.
Mm.
They had to go wallowing around the long way, which hadn't been plowed, but at least it didn't have the berm,
Mhm.
So they go around past the old antique store and wrap around the long way if they could. And so Eileen, on her own, took her little tractor snow blower thing and blew out the rest of that. It took her all day to blow out the rest of that Lobo loop.
So, so the county didn't plow it after what now?
I don't think they plowed it all this year. And with all the snow coming off the community center lot, pushed mostly to the north into the Lobo loop, into the road right away. It's actually Eileen. That's the residual that Eileen owned. We got a mountain of snow. We barely could get rid of the snow.
See if anyone picks up. That's gonna-
Should be just getting off work.
But this summer, it's gonna need some maintenance too. It's got some dips that need to be patched and probably chip sealed again.
I'll send them a text.
In the one corner there by the old defunct dish, remember the cable company used to have that little dish farm right there? That corner gets cut. It gets cut by lost semis trying to go through there. That corner's all torn up. So it needs a little TLC this summer, I think.
I was texting myself so we can get that.
I just wanted to get it on the record for a future topic this spring. If there's a review of county road priorities and things.
And so the maintenance, you said it has a dip in it, is that the chip sealed portion or not?
Yeah, out by the highway near the stop sign, there's a low spot that puddles and ices over, and then there's another one near the intersection where it bends. There's one right there, and then the lost semi drivers go in there sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
if you know what you're doing, you can make that radius, but they don't always.
Yeah.
Cut the corners short.
Drop a wheel in the ditch.
Oh yeah, the corner by those defunct TV dishes there. Got it kind of torn up. So I don't know what to do about that. Unless we put a boulder the size of the Volkswagen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's,
And the Shover's gonna have a new,
but then it's, if it's public road and county maintained, then something like that becomes a public liability.
Right.
Somebody's liability.
somebody runs into it.
Because it's a 60-foot easement. We adjusted landlines. Eileen went to a lot of effort and expense to adjust landlines to make it 60 feet
Mhm.
for the county to agree to
Accept it.
accept it. So that's about all I had.
Mhm.
Unless you got any questions of what's going on out there.
Yeah, we're always interested. I heard there might be a big concert down in Tin Can Alley or something, like.
Oh, we've heard that story go around.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not very realistic.
Oh, it isn't?
I don't think it is. I mean, look at it.
You know, who's
The road access is terrible back there.
It's the same guy that's.
Bootlegger guy.
Shannon Anderson.
Well, he's been paying for a lot of concerts, so I don't know why.
You know,
He would put his money where his mouth is on it.
I've had some good visits with him. He seems like a real thoughtful, organized guy.
Mhm.
You know, sounds like he's a really got it together as a businessman. And I don't know what all his history is, but talks a good line. But the area back there, it's,
Yeah, whose 200 acres is that?
He bought it.
he bought it
Oh.
from Jim Toomey, who
Oh.
bought it from Nature Conservancy or Five Valley Land Trust, who bought it from the state to offset the Alberton Gorge Land Exchange
Oh,
stuff.
oh,
It was taxable land offset for what the,
right.
yeah. When the-
Sounds like maybe that land was more valuable than that, though.
Well,
River frontage.
yeah, the gorge land,
Yeah.
it went from, back then, Montana Power or Northwest Energy. Right, so it went from taxable private into state, and the offset was a bunch of those other
Mhm.
purple parcels over there. So, yeah, Jim Toomey logged off more timber, put up a decent fence across the front, because it had just constant trespassing, vandalism, dumping, it just was a party and a hangout spot that people had used all their lives. They drive all over back there and dirt bike and four-wheel, and it was a playground for St. Rita. Yeah. Ken Miller put a barbed wire fence up there for the state, part of a timber sale project called St. Regis Beetles, probably 15 years ago. And the locals it took them a day to figure that out. They just went and clipped the fences and just kept driving all over. And the gates, and they just clip the fence and drive around the gate. Yeah. So yeah, that's gone through the private hands. I don't know exactly what he's planning, but the road access is terrible. You gotta wind your way through the residential part of town on narrow streets, cluttered streets with vehicles parked everywhere. Kind of a low standard, well, it's just a county standard road, as far as heavy traffic. But then, once they get there, what do you do with all these people? You'd have to slick off all of the whole flat ground, you'd have to slick off all the timber to have enough parking space and whatever space. And what's it gonna do for sewer, water, power, and all that stuff? It seems like a pipe dream, but most of it.
Well, I guess the big poker run is tomorrow, or
And
the West End?
I kind of think it is the last weekend, yeah, should be.
So, and then after that, will there still be that trail to rail jog race marathon up there in June? Remember?
Oh, yeah, June 10th, yeah.
June 10th.
We got it posted in Trail Runner magazine, which has a huge circulation.
Really?
They've got it on the calendar, a physical calendar, that came in the middle of the magazine. I should have brought it in. It's a kind of a high dollar, glossy, probably continental wide distribution circulation. We paid a fee to get in there, so we've got our little name on the block on the calendar, and then in the text, it goes by dates all over the country, probably even beyond the border. It goes date by date all the way through the year. It shows all of the runs everywhere. And so there we are. We're ahead of past years as far as registrants at this point.
Oh, good, good.
We're running ahead. And this year last year we added the relays. Men's and women's mixed relays. I think they're mixed. And had a few of them that were successful. This year we added the 5K event for people that just want the shortest. Some people just walk it. We've had people walk the 12K just for the exercise. It's all downhill. So we think we're going to have a pretty big turnout this year.
And then remind me, was there some other venue that for a while conflicted? They overlapped, or what was that? One time I was up there and there was a trail to rail run and something else.
They had that shine thingy up there that wasn't it, a couple years ago, added at the same time as the trail rail run, or
Was it a concert
some
or
kind
some kind
of
of a counterculture thing? Yeah, that didn't detract much from it. Although there was traffic congestion There might have been a four-wheeler event one year too.
Maybe that's what it was.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah, the Borgia
Oh,
was congested because of all the traffic.
Yeah.
This year, we moved it to the 10th because there were some other runs in the region that were on the 17th. We
Mm.
thought we'd try it a week earlier.
Mhm.
Plus the 18th is Father's Day, and there's usually,
Mm.
people have reasons to do other things on Father's Day weekend. And then the townwide yard sale is the 16th and 17th. And some of our own people don't want to be, they help with the yard sale and they want to be involved with the trail run. And we thought, well, we'll spread that out a little bit. Try it that way this year.
Mhm.
So anything else, anything new on the 135 funding?
I haven't heard
haven't
anything.
heard anything.
All we know is they're gonna do some trail work on both sides of it, but no highway work yet. And wasn't that kind of where we were?
I have no idea where we're
Yeah.
at. Should get the DOT down here for their
Updates.
update and kind of get it ahead of time so that we can discuss the South Side Road again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Before-
it's taking a beating.
Mhm.
Yeah, they just need to mill up that whole thing and lay it back down.
Mhm.
Let's see, you know where Denley's little resale yard is there?
Yeah,
Freeway?
yeah.
There's a bunch of lath, like survey lath, sticking out of the ground there. We're all curious what that
Mm.
signifies.
Hmm. Nobody has Denny's text phone, hey Denny, what you doing?
Well, I don't text him, I'm not really gonna bug him while he's in Illinois.
No.
And next time I see him in real life, I'm gonna ask him.
Help him.
Some weekends he comes on.
Yeah, I think when is transmittal?
Well, we'll be over there in a couple of weeks, maybe we'll see him.
Yeah,
We're just curious that,
don't they take a break somewhere around February for transmittal or whatever they call it, mid-session?
will they have a deadline for transmittal?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty soon,
I can find
if it hasn't already happened. No, we're just curious about changes,
Mhm.
change of hands, change of land use, whatever.
So transmittal of general bills is March 1.
Oh, yeah, wait.
And then transmittal break is March 2 through 5. So then we'll be back then. Yeah, we'll see him on February 13th that week.
That's not very important.
So are you a Latin guy? What's sine die? C-A-D-A. S-I-N-E-D-I-E. It must be end of session or finished or... Is that Latin?
Yeah.
I'm just assuming it means closed, ended, finished.
It must be a closing ceremony. We need an attorney that understands that.
Yeah. So what else is new? Nothing else new this evening? How about the 4-day school week?
Haven't really heard people talk about it. You know, the paperwork seemed, the reporting seemed pretty honest that, yeah, might not save any money, might create problems for families.
Mm-hmm.
But it read like the attraction of it was, and it came up 2 or 3 times, the attraction was to get teachers interested and interested in coming and staying.
Yeah, retention and recruitment, yeah.
For quality teachers, because they like that schedule.
I would try to do that because they were losing a lot of them to other
Oh,
county and city agencies that did, yeah, it was like, we can't pay you more, but we can give you a better schedule.
have better time off,
Right,
theoretically.
yeah,
Well,
so,
I really don't.
Summer off, what more do they want?
Yeah. Well, true. Yeah, allow them to get
well,
part-time
then,
jobs.
and then
so-
Dwayne says that they get done at 1 o'clock every day anyway, so to me,
On Friday.
that would be almost like a reason, why even bother getting everybody up and doing all that work to go to school for 3.5 hours?
Yeah, I think it's 1:20 or something. Yeah, early
I like to
on
play
Friday.
devil's advocate because Amber went to 410s in Saco and they liked it, and so did Alberton. And to me, well, she says the benefits are that they all can load up on the buses and go do their sports thing without missing school.
Mhm.
And then the kids that aren't in sports don't just sit there with a sub and watch Disney movies for the day, stuff like that. So,
I just wonder with like the way the St. Regis district is scattered out there, especially the West Enders.
yeah.
They got no school on Friday, but they have sporting events
Mhm.
that night or that.
Yeah, who's gonna
uh,
bring them down, or their parents will
I
have
mean,
to
there'd be
bring
no
them?
cost savings in busing overall. I guess there might be something. If they're
Maybe
not,
one day you're not running the route.
yeah, there'd be a little bit less running around.
And less pay to the bus driver and less pay to the fuel.
But for the families, coordination for the families, and, you know, babysitting and rides and all that stuff.
Well, I don't know how they do it in Saco because, talk about a wide net of where people live. They live, some of those farm kids, they live 50 miles out of town on a gravel road.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they just, stay in town with Grandma Bertha when there's a ball game or what they do. but-
Probably a lot of that are other families taking
Mhm.
the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
There was a show on PBS last night that was really fascinating. It was the Great Blizzard of '49. And eastern Wyoming took the brunt of it, parts of western Nebraska, western South Dakota, and part of North Dakota, a little.
So that was spring 49, because I remember the big winter, we had the floods of 48, so was this the year after
This
that?
was January of '49.
Huh?
Started December '48,
Mhm.
into January '49, and it was just, well, the worst
Mhm.
winter and recorded weather
Mhm.
in this country for that area.
I think that's when all those bridges, Higgins Street Bridge and this bridge,
Oh.
wasn't that the same year, all that flooding,
No,
48, 49?
I don't recall that for sure.
Mr. Historical Society.
No, I wasn't here then.
I know. I remember the red and white store and all the water flooded down and took out the bridge and took out and then the same thing with Higgins Street Bridge.
Yeah. 'Cause they had that in 1907 or 8. They had the big flood right after the Milltown Dam was built.
Mm.
And that kind of was what caused all kinds of issues forever in the Clark Fork, because it took out the bridges into probably down this way. No, but the Wyoming show, I mean, snow drifts as big as this building and whole houses covered up by snow.
Mhm.
6 weeks, no school,
Wow.
because people couldn't go anywhere. And they had all kinds of rescue efforts, National Guard, regular military. They had people all over the place trying to plow roads and get help to people and rescue people. And families that did have access and provisions took in all kinds of people and just filled up their houses with neighbors and travelers. There were a lot of travelers trying to go somewhere after the holidays.
Hmm.
They got stuck in the middle of this thing. It was January 2nd through 5th. The trains couldn't run. Those hundreds of people were stranded and had to be dealt with. It was quite a story.
So, I texted T-Bone and so I said, hey, do we plow Global Loop for Senior Center and Community Center? Short and simple reply, no. couldn't get hold of my phone, so I can't really ask more questions about all the maintenance and why did we do that.
Okay.
I said,
Hope Road.
some, you know, looking back in the minutes, we have this new thing where, have you used that, Casey, where you
Silence?
do a word search on the side? It's very efficient or fast. And if we really need to, we can go back and see what the original agreement was in a meeting.
Yeah, Eileen was more involved with the nitty-gritty of that
Yeah.
About what time frame was that?
5 years ago.
5?
But when they didn't chip seal it like they should have,
Mhm.
see, the highway's out here, right? Lobo Loop comes in, there's this corner. Fire hall is here,
Mhm.
lift station is there, and this goes to Eileen's place. See, there's this little corner lot that is the defunct Dish Cable Company. And then Joe Wolf owns this. And then the seniors is something like this. Okay? And this one is Stevens. And over here is Schwaderer's. And instead of, let's see, then Eileen's, let's see,
The community center must be about.
Right here.
in there somewhere.
yeah. Eileen's line. Community center and Eileen's must be down here someplace. It was supposed to be chip sealed to here, squared up with Eileen's line to give the seniors improved access into their parking lot. But it stopped back here on this line. And so you got this rough gravelly kind of a transition from chip seal to gravel here.
Who was plowing out the seniors' parking lot itself? Do they?
Who is plowing it?
Yeah.
Tim Palmer's doing it for both the seniors and for community center.
Oh.
And a lot of other places around
Mhm.
there. He's got 2 plow trucks set up.
Oh, pickup trucks or jeeps or what?
Pick up. Yeah, he's doing a good business.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we understood if it was all agreed and
Yeah.
to a right of way and a standard for a public road, that the county would at least maintain it.
Yeah, well, you should be able to search sometime and find out that was what was agreed to.
Okay, well.
Yeah, and then we can either show it to T-Bone and go, hey,
I should check with Tim too to see what he's got
mhm.
on his up there too.
And there should be some reference to a cooperative deal where the community council donated the cost of the oil to make it go
Mhm.
for the chip seal. You know, and it's also a polling place. There usually aren't any elections in the snow unless November comes, you know.
But the seniors is the polling place?
No, the community center,
Oh, the community center.
yeah, for all of the regular, you know, civil elections.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be a need in November for,
Mm-hmm. Or sooner with the Zinke thing.
Yeah.
85 days. If Zinke gets confirmed, we have 85.
oh, a special election.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
hard telling what things
The
will be
weather will do.
like by then. We're going through a dry snap now,
Yeah.
but we still got 18 inches in our yard.
Hmm.
Seems like we always get a bunch of snow in March.
Yeah, one time on Valentine's Day, I can't really hear, but it snowed and snowed and snowed. Something like 8 inches in 4 hours or something.
Pretty much any time. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, good seeing you.
I'll go buzz the Forest Service now.
To you, but you were laughing about her cell phone, so you didn't hear me.
No, it's my cell phone. When you're ready for whatever.
We're ready for whatever.
Okay. Well, we'll be ready then.
I see your raw milk is back on the forefront.
And they're going sideways crazy over there. And it's like, whatever, just let it's all, the big thing is the livestock, the Milk and Egg Bureau. Those guys, they haven't said one word about it or whatever, so. Anyway, I looked over stuff and I probably maybe did somewhat a little bit in error, but I didn't in reverse or order of things, but I wanted to know what was out there and what happened, and so I started with the Bitterroot RC&D, and they have like 6, 7, 8, 9 pages of applications for people that, and so I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel, but we haven't converted these into a Mineral County documented stuff. So there's good templates out there of how you get a hold of the people and get this done and do that part of it. So the other thing though that I was looking at, and they talked last time at the whatever over here about the Good Neighbor Policy
Coalition.
and stuff. So, and I talked to Carol, and Carol wants to get together February 10th.
Oh, was it that
I think
Yeah,
it
it
might
might be. Yeah, it's a Friday, it's on your schedule.
Anyway, it's fairly soon here, but I said, let's think about a kind of a showcase place like Cabin City up there where we do things all inside the Cabin City and then the Forest Service gets to do their things on the outside of it. She says, that's a great idea. She said, let's do that. So I went and put together in this forest rangelands and the community guide to preparing and implementing a community wildfire protection plan. So yes, we have a protection plan, but it's been pretty old, and there's quite a bit of new language and new stuff out there that should be absorbed and incorporated in that, and how to put one together. And then Fire Safe Montana, they don't seem to be active very much this last year. I don't know what, I sent him an email. I don't see I got anything back from him. But the Fire Safe used to really be jumping out there. When we did the Mullen West fire, that overhead team that we got assigned here, that was really good one. But the guy that was that one public information officer, his name is Pat McElvery. He's now the head of Fire Safe Montana. And we didn't mesh too well. I got the other liaison, they finally said, you talk to Reed, we're not gonna talk to him, kind of thing, and that's fine, it worked for me. And, but McElvery is out there, and that, there's a lot of really good information about Fire Safe Montana. I mean, their whole website is just filled with all kinds of guidances and help and examples and doing that. So there's a certain amount of that base information that's out there, and then the request for proposal, I guess I'm a little bit confused by it, because it's a request for proposal to do something, and it's fairly generic, but it's not really letting somebody know what they should be doing. It just says, this is kind of what we want to do, and give some parameters in there. So if you don't mind, I would like to take this job description and really rework it and put what a word now is called metrics in it. But I mean, performance. There needs to be something that, somebody has to report at a certain time frame and tell us exactly what they're doing and who they contacted, what they said. If we don't know, if you just turn somebody loose for 5-6 months and they just sit around and do a couple things and whatever, and then I guess the one thing though about is I think probably the higher priority for me today is that I'm thinking that we should suggest a salary range that this person should be looking at. I don't think we want to decide, I mean, I think we want to kind of point it this way and say, we think this is what it takes to do this kind of job, and then with that, as long as we're gonna put a wage in there, then there's gonna be some minimum qualifications. Have you got some years' experience of this? Have you done something? Have you, do you technical writing? So the other thing in here, I think, so research, develop, and maintain plans to ensure county is in compliance with SRS. So, okay, but I'm kind of thinking we should be handing that to somebody. I don't know that we want them to research it. This should be like, here's the forms that keep us in compliance and doing that, and I haven't got to that part of it yet. So if you want me to proceed on, or if you just want me to hand you all this stuff, you guys can have it. So, whatever you want to do, but
How, back to your thing about a salary, how would we come up with a recommended salary that's, what do you?
I think if this guy's gonna, be in the field and do this and this, well, okay, so, yes, how do you come up with a salary? I think we should decide what money's available for the project. Because I think that we have quite a couple options in here. Is that, and this is going to take a little bit of research, there's 3 years worth of Title III monies sitting in one fund. Okay, I suggested that when Cindy was working on things and to Stacy said, why don't you make a separate fund for each year's money so that you know whether you're spending first year's money and not, and doing that. And now it's going to take some research to go back and say we received this much 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and then the last time we got paid, and doing that. Tell me it's not so, I would believe it, but I thought that the old money has to be committed by this time, and this money by this time, and this money by this time. So we need to deal with the oldest money first and get that committed and get it on the books of exactly what we're going to do with it. And if somebody wants to convince me and Jessica sees it different, I don't know. But that's the way I see it, is that we have to take the oldest money and deal with that first and do that. So if we parcel it out into 3 years of money like that, then I would propose to take that much money and say that we want to put this much money into the efforts on the ground, and we want to use this much money of it for overhead. And if we don't want to use more than 10% of it overhead, then 10% of $100 and some thousand is going to be this many dollars, and so so the person's going to have about this many hours to get the job done. You can't just sit there and work at it for 20, 30 hours and build up all kinds of money and everything else like that. I mean, if it's not happening, so if you're got other ideas, or if you think that I'm off on a tangent here.
No.
Did Jessica agree with you that the new Title III money, the money that's the oldest, needs to be spent within a different time parameter than the money we received last year?
We haven't talked about that. She was pretty incensed that I was spending time on this. She said,
Incensed?
yeah. She said, I don't see why you're spending any time on this.
Well,
I said,
we
it's
asked you to
important.
do it.
It's
I thought we
important,
asked
and
him to do
it needs to get done.
Mhm.
And it needs to have some analysis,
Mhm.
not just put somebody out there on the street and hope that they get something done,
Mm-hmm.
which is,
Well, yeah, there has to be kind of a plan.
But in the meantime, if this person is doing the job and seeing the things, he should be able to put information into our community wildfire protection plan, and we should be in a position to say, okay, here's our new highest priority. And we should be telling this person and everything else, we want you to figure out what is the highest priority. And we also want you to do something that's gonna coordinate with the Forest Service, so that, especially if we can get something across the boundary, get on both sides of the fence and get something done. And that's what I see out of this good neighbor policy from Idaho. Sounds like they got it down and functional and stuff, so. And I didn't Carol bring this up or she said this, whatever, I didn't read the minutes real carefully from the last.
We discussed it more at the coalition than
Yeah.
at the meeting.
But I mean, she was like, yeah, good idea, I thought. That's what I was sensing from this thing, is the good neighbor policy, so maybe we can get back to some of those areas, so. So if we want to just, I don't know, have things for another week or something like that, I mean, it's not like I haven't done nothing, but I haven't got this important part
Mm-hmm.
sorted out.
Yeah, I kind of thought that we were kind of giving you the lead to
Yeah.
get this going,
Okay.
is what
Yeah, that's
my
what I thought.
understanding was, is we just kind of turned it over to you and said, let's get the ball going, and
So we could get some projects out there and the
Yeah.
money used before it's lost.
Okay.
Um,
So, I mean, so basically, this is an update to let you know, this is what I've got compiled and put together, so.
okay,
We'll get this work, try to get this reworked for next week and have something in there to work with and stuff, so that we can get an ad out there and get something going on it and stuff.
So since we got you here, Mr. Landman, this was on the agenda, but the guy didn't show up. I asked Candace if you were here because I wanted your opinion anyway. So anyway, it got tabled, nothing happened, but. So this is the Mill Creek Road and this number 55 is the Veterans, whatever. And so-
American Legion.
American Legion.
American Legion.
So Casey looked it up for me and you had to go across the road a little bit for a time. But anyway, it's
No.
2.87 acres,
The
looks like.
easement is coming out of this piece of property, and so, yeah, it doesn't really go across the road. The edge of the property boundary over here, 30 feet that way, is our easement.
Okay. So anyway, 2.87 acres, and and not going out there and looking at it, but you probably know the lay of the land. What they're wanting to do is they'd like to get a tax exempt status because they're American Legion. But I was just going, wow, that's a lot of ground, 2.87 acres. Is this
Yeah.
land worth carving off for another cabin site, or is there no room?
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it, okay.
Couldn't do it. They were very lucky to be able to get a drain field site on that piece of property.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, John Cochran proposed like a 5 or 6 lot subdivision all along whatever he owned in there, and then he let it expire. And so I wouldn't recognize it, but then after he cooled down and wasn't quite so mad, then he come back and said, well, let's try to re-up the subdivision.
Mhm.
And I said, well, first of all, you're not gonna get that many lots. I mean, he did, he had all those lots cut in two, and I said, no, I'm not gonna work. So to get the drain fields and get everything, so we ended up with 4 lots.
Okay, so if there was a movement to try to help those guys with their tax status, you don't think that would be too big a deal, given that the ground's not much good for anything else?
No, I mean, that piece of property is just gonna be that way for a long time. Do they want exempt or reduction?
Sam, wasn't it?
I thought they didn't want to pay any at all. They paid, what, 900?
Yeah, it was 1,000.
900, 1,000, but it's because it's 2.87 acres. maybe the building can be exempt, but the land, and so they'd like to have us consider the land too, you know.
Well,
But there is a state law that,
This one?
yeah. So we don't have to, state law doesn't require that, but I guess we could still do it on our own if we thought it was a help to them.
well. I guess I would suggest that the status that you have now is that, you know, you'd be looking favorable on a tax exemption or tax reduction and doing that. If they were to change that status
For that land.
and make that into public, where they were really charging for things, we really danced around about the sewer system, because I said that to come back in and redo the sewer system for food service and that part of it is really hard. I think you want to build those provisions in it. When you put the first system in, well, they really balked at that. They just was like, no, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna have a simple this and simple that. They wanted 2 restrooms and a sink is all. And I go, it never goes that way. And you guys, you're gonna have a tough time when it comes back to, no, we're not gonna do that. So I guess the only thing I would suggest is that you reserve the right to review this if the status of the place changes.
If the status of its use, or are you talking about if they
Yeah, it's
decide-
use. If they, so they're saying that they're only meeting their members.
Like a clubhouse.
And it's clubhouse and doing that.
So if they decide to add on, throw in a kitchen, start having 4-H dinners there, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, or opening
Or
it up
renting it out
public.
to-
I don't know if those guys are, yeah, that's a good point.
A
like
wedding,
renting out.
a wedding.
I mean,
family.
if they start realizing income off of that, well, wait a minute here. You know, so that, yeah, you give them the tax exempt and then they turn around and start generating money and.
So you're talking about not only its use for whether they're profiting off it, but you're also talking about their use if they increase capacity on the sewer.
Yeah, well, or put additional facilities. I really don't know if they're sitting on a liquor license anymore. I mean,
American Legion?
yeah, they used to have one,
Really?
didn't they?
I don't know. Ambet's Bar, is that what you mean?
I don't know. Maybe it's been that long ago that they didn't ever, whatever, right? But it's probably since gone away. I mean, you can only hold them in so many years in some kind of weird status. You can't just sit out there forever on
So it
it.
might be a bar.
Yeah.
American
Well-
Legion Bar.
Well, all the others are. Ronan is.
Yeah.
Polson is.
Mhm.
I mean, Polson is a big-time enterprise up there.
Hmm.
So is Ronan.
Oh.
They have a 2 times a month breakfast.
I'm glad we talked to you. You always think of the stuff, we're not even in that realm of it.
The only thing I suggest is just reserve the right to review.
Okay.
Well, we'll just, kind of, let this kind of do to get the ball rolling.
Okay. But tried to do that, I just didn't. I'm impeding, but.
Nope, we need something to get done and you're the person that's gonna get it done. So.
Well, I can build some stuff in there about how the position could interact with us. It's gonna need some work.
Yeah.
I don't think there'd be, I can't imagine there'd be a prohibition that they couldn't buy a laptop computer. With all of the electrical what's on there by the outdoor. Tablets and stuff.
Well, JW, you've been waiting patiently.
Thanks, Tim.
Oh, me?
Thanks
Oh,
for
no,
coming
I'm
out
good.
and doing that.
I don't get to sit down too often.
Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome.
Oh, did you find any market for your team, truck rep? Oh,
No, we can't find this producer over there at Whitehall. He's the biggest mystery person ever.
and even though Stroop's back, he couldn't locate him?
Well, I put all the calls, this guy was gonna check this, did that, nobody ever contacted me and stuff. But then, I know my dad went to Iowa State University and they've got a big time swine production back there. So
Mhm.
I kind of looked that up and I said, hey, what do you think about feeding green beans to pigs? And the guy's like, stumped the band on that one. He said, yeah, but you better be thinking that you can't just feed straight green beans
Gotta mix it with
to
something.
pigs. And then if you look at some of the stuff like that, the green pigs, green pigs.
Green eggs and ham.
Swine, little piggies and everything else, they don't like uncooked green beans.
Oh,
If you cook them, they'll eat them all day long.
huh.
If they're raw, fresh, whatever like that.
They're not very good vegetarians, are they? Huh.
So I don't know if that's real accurate or not, but it shows up in a few places, like if you want, there's like 3 different vegetables that if you want to feed them to the pigs, you need to cook them first. Pigs to eat them. Okay.
Hey, Tim. When do pigs become hogs?
Just before they get bumped in the head.
120 pounds.
Really?
Little trivia for you.
120 pounds.
Now, somebody might call me a
Before they
liar.
get bumped in the head, get the bolt gun. Butchered, right?
Oh, I thought I'd give you something to think about over the weekend.
Isn't that when they butcher most of them?
Mhm.
Yeah, some of them get pretty big. Some of them get huge.
Yeah, but the feeder stock, you think 120 pounds. That's why when they go to butcher, they're hogs.
Some trivia. I don't have a whole lot. I just thought you guys might want to know. I've heard nothing from Helena.
Really?
Nothing. It was a week yesterday.
Gee.
Really, actually 9 days, counting the day that I took the exam. And so today it'd be 8 days. So today it'd be 9 days. And the way it works generally is if you get idiot written on your forehead and says you didn't pass it, you get a letter in the mail. And if you didn't, they usually send you your license in email.
So no news is good news right now.
I'd say they're really slow
Uh-huh.
because it was overnight mail, so they got it Friday. But there's no telling how many of those they have,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then of course anything else that
Someone's
they
got
do
to-
for licensing and such.
Mhm.
Tough department. That's that. I had Jim out here from Martin Ray's as you requested on Wednesday,
Mhm.
and we did the walk. I made a couple of adjustments on that, on your list that you made. I included Boone on the courthouse. You okay with that?
Mhm.
Yeah. And let's see here. I don't think there was any other modifications that was pertinent that when you made that list out. Jim from Martin Ray's, for those do not duplicate keys, needs a list of who can and who can get the keys duplicated.
Probably just him. Oh, you mean a person of us? Oh.
Wow. would think you'd be the only one that had authorization to get them duplicated.
Joel?
Yeah, well, we may consider, someone else. I mean, if someone else was in town, we're 70 miles
Oh,
from there.
well, yeah,
Somebody could take a list and they could get it done, and if
Yeah.
they had authorization.
but I mean, yeah, that would be somebody that you would say, okay, you're going to town, I'm gonna authorize you to
Okay.
get keys made.
So if
That's up to
you want me to
you.
decide one other person?
Yeah, who do you think? Who goes to
Um,
town more than you? Tim? Kevin Chamberlain?
I go to Missouri.
I don't know.
too,
I was
so-
kind of hoping you guys would give me a name. You guys know people around here more than I do. Been around a lot longer than I have. I mean, I've got a basic idea of everybody around here, but I would kind of defer that to you guys.
I go to Missoula at least once a week.
Oh, okay, Lori then.
Okay? You good with that?
Yeah, I mean,
And
if you need a key made or something, then,
Okay,
like I
so-
said, I usually go
all right.
at least once a
So
week.
at this point, until you guys see a need to change, that will just be you and me that will be authorized to get keys.
Mhm.
Copies. Okay, and so I'll email that to him or text it to him.
And her name is John's Ton with a T. Ton, not son.
Well, what?
I hope so.
Well, I'm just saying.
I went from Johnson to Johnston, so.
Then there's another small issue that I wanted to bring before you guys. It's regarding the bull rack in the attorney's office.
A bull rack?
Yeah, the bull rack that's in the attorney's office.
What are we talking about?
Bull L.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking coat rack, bullpen, throw all the attorneys in
Okay.
one room.
Bull.
Okay.
The attorney, and her name escapes me.
Yeah.
Ellen.
Ellen and Melinda had discussed moving the rack over into Melinda's office. Those walls are concrete, and I'm just gonna throw my 2 cents in before we get any farther. I don't think it's a good idea to be moving those racks around.
Why did you want to move? Is there a reasoning?
Is it in her way? Because
No.
we can take it down without and put it back. We can put it up in here for that matter.
Yeah.
Does she want it gone more, or does Melinda want it in there more? I mean, what's the issue?
She wanted to put her calendar there, but are you good with that?
Well, we could take it down.
We can take it
And then
down.
put it in here somewhere.
It's one of those C's. I think they're all C's.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a C.
But I mean, I agree with you. I mean, what do they call those old walls where they have like the lath and they put
Yeah.
in the,
Shiplap,
you know what it's called?
the wood strips.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's shiplap or if it's something else, but
Yeah, I used to know that.
shiplap, pretty good sized pieces of wood.
Yeah. So yeah, I can understand you not wanting to go drill another hole in Melinda's,
Yeah,
but really there should be no harm taking it down and just putting it in a normal walled area somewhere in the courthouse here, right?
Okay, so I can pass that information
If she
along.
wants the space,
Yeah, we could take it
Especially
down,
after,
find a place
especially after
for
my
it.
boondoggle putting, drilling holes in the brick outside. Fool me once,
Yeah, why don't you do that?
fool me twice, fool me.
okay, why don't you drill some big holes and put that elk rack out there on the brick?
Oh, yeah, that's gonna go over well, wouldn't it?
Good.
Okay, so that's okay if we move it, but it needs to be put into one of the.
A regular
buildings.
wall that you feel like it would look good or look
As long as
sharp.
you're okay with that, okay.
No, I didn't put that clear.
I was gonna say there's
Yeah.
empty space.
Oh, right over your desk. Casey's an elk hunter, so
Yeah.
she wants it over her desk over there by the clock. So, you still have your phone photo? Show them that big thing you got. a
No, I
couple,
don't
3
think
years.
it's on this phone.
Well, you got
I'll
a new.
show it to you sometime.
Was it a guide kill or did you go find
No,
it?
she did it.
Wow.
Well,
If you want to call my husband and my dad guides,
Well, I would,
then
no, I'm talking about legit guides, like
No.
Cantrell,
No.
Cantrell,
Like-
She did a good job until she pulled the trigger and it knocked her on her ass. Otherwise, she did. good.
oh,
You didn't get a black eye, did you?
No.
You didn't let the scope hit you in the eye, did you? I don't know how people do that.
Well, if they're that, I mean, I can almost done it in shooting at an angle. I mean,
Okay.
that it.
Got a hold of Ray Godin about the tree trimming,
Mhm.
and he was waiting for Leroy to get back. They're gonna come over. They got a bucket.
Mhm.
They're good at this, and They don't have regular insurance, all nonstop, but what they do is they get performance insurance, just like,
For jobs, different
yeah, just
jobs.
like the guy that did the jail for us. Even though he had insurance, he got a performance insurance policy as well. That's what they told me, so I'll hold him to that.
Mhm.
And so I'm working with that, and maybe, yeah, we'll get it done before the SAP starts running, depending on the price.
Mhm.
You know, we just don't want to give away money.
Right.
And then the last thing, this is an ugly one. You're not going to like this one. A couple days ago, Casey got a hold of me and told me that she smelled propane coming out of the utility room down the hall over here. So I went over there and looked at it, and the only thing I could really find out that it could possibly be would be the flue wasn't working properly, you know, exhaust. And it seemed to be working okay. I called the 800 number and went over that with him just for fun. And we determined also that the pressure outside could have been a lot greater, and it was kind of preventing it and holding it back. But he was really concerned that these babies are 23 years old. And he said, they're still operating? And he said, yeah, they're still operating. And
The
he
boilers
said,
or the?
The hot water heaters for the jail.
Oh.
He said, I'm really concerned about that. And he wasn't out to get money. He's just a helpline guy.
Mhm.
And he said those hot water heaters are probably just full.
Minerals
And
and.
he said if they haven't gone yet, they're going to go anytime. So I took it one step further and got a hold of a supplier in Missoula. And to replace that one or a facsimile would be about $4,200 a piece. That's just for the hot water heater.
Not the install.
So you need to know this stuff, that it could go. And it'd be, you know, the jail would be down without hot water. If we weren't prepared, it'd be down without hot water for a few days.
But there's two of them, so you can interchange them.
There's two of them.
So you could change one while they're still at hot water.
Yeah, providing they didn't both go out at the same time.
Right.
And lately, it'd be our luck. So that's about all I got, unless you guys got something for me.
Can't think of anything.
We're gonna get snow again Tuesday.
30% chance then, and then 40 on Wednesday, I heard.
Said snow, not showers, snow.
Mm-hmm.
Be here soon.
I found, I went out yesterday morning, I was out there milling around, and, before I get that far, I changed the locks on the shop. Okay.
Fire hall
Fire
shop.
hall one?
Change
Okay.
that.
Could you make sure that Tim has 2 keys to that? Because I borrowed the one when I was working for you. And,
Which I never formally thanked you for. Thank you.
oh, anytime, and you said you're gonna be gone when, March?
That's tentative now.
Oh,
You might
My
not.
son's beginning to have second thoughts about having that done right now. So
Okay.
Really?
now that's tentative.
Okay, well, just let me know when, give me a heads up when you're gonna be gone.
Okay.
And between me and Sherry, we'll cover for you.
Okay. Yeah. I've got a hunch she's gonna back out for right now.
Okay, well, I'll even come down and with you and find out just exactly what, the cleaning that you do, and so that when you're gone, I will cover for you as well.
Sherry doesn't have a hard time covering the administrative.
No,
area.
that's what but as far as that
All the other stuff you
yeah,
check. Okay. And monitor. Okay. And so I'll get those keys made. But I went out there yesterday, and there was a huge pool of hydraulic fluid underneath. So I just combed over that thing. I found a loose hydraulic fitting
on.
on the plow.
John Deere?
So, okay, now,
I was able to
how
fix
does
it
the
without-
disabled vets get it, to get their car out of there? Do they have a different?
I had a
mean,
key
different
made
way?
up for them when I had a new key made, and they pick it up at dispatch.
Okay,
And
alrighty.
I took the one from Doug Cummings
Okay,
and trashed it because it didn't work anymore.
okay. But anyway, if you will give, because Tim had 2 keys to that, and I got fact, I got one and I still have his, but now that it doesn't work, I won't have to worry about it.
Are they the only ones that are gonna need keys for that? Because to me, it's kind of a security concern.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he's got some maps and stuff out there. And then, it seems like he said, I don't know, Candace was saying that the county attorney had some old files or something out there too, that we'll talk to Ellen and maybe she can go out there and see if it's something that.
Okay, two more keys?
Yeah, if you give Tim 2 keys, a spare, and, yeah.
Okay, I'll just give him 2 keys, that's what you want me to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had the locks changed on the boiler room. And that, in the street entrance to the boiler, down to the boiler, had those locks changed, so who's ever got keys out there to get in there can't anymore.
Good.
Okay, so that's about it for me.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll have you make up just an extra set of keys to just
I got a spare key for those.
just for what. Yeah, and just like you keep them, and then like if you're going to be gone, then you can give them to me. And
So if something comes up, I'll just contact you and you'll know where they're at and how to get to them. There's a lock box when you go in the supply room and the boiler room.
okay,
Okay, there's a lock box in it.
but I'll have to have a key.
And it has a
to
key.
get into
It has a
there.
key, but that key is stashed because
Okay.
some people around here knew where that key was, and so
Yeah.
I found another little place for it at home. Okay, other than that,
Oh,
that's all I got. I don't want to hold you guys up.
all righty.
Weekend's quickly approaching.
All right, thanks for the
Oh,
update.
and Casey said something about, you got an email from Guna?
I did. I included it in a pile of plenty. Oh, jeez.
She have an issue over there.
No.
Quite the opposite, sir.
Oh, letter of praise?
It says, "Hi Casey, I just want to let you know that Joel Skinner has been the best maintenance person we have ever had here at the library. He comes in very often to check if we need anything and fixes things immediately. Please let the commissioners know how much we appreciate his work."
Son of a gun. Hey, that only cost me a 20 spot.
Paid her off, huh?
Couldn't help myself. All right, y'all.
Thanks,
All right.
Joel.
Thank
See you later, JW.
Okay, thank you.
Approved claims 31,935 to 31,979. In the amount of 175,049.70. Claim 31.
Check. Right?
What?
Check. Check number?
Oh, okay, it'll be, check 7200 through 7245, but check 7202 was voided. And claim number 31937 to Mako, there was $150 disallowed. That was Dwayne's registration fee. So that claim was changed from.
How did you learn he wasn't going, by the way?
He had said, yeah, he had said something last week about, remind Casey to call and say he decided he wasn't gonna go or whatever. But anyway, it was changed from $450 to $300. Anyway, I make a motion, we approve that.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next week, is that when I have to, you or?
Go ahead.
Soil conservation appointment, board appointment. We have an application from Lane Hanson.
Do we know who's gone, who are we filling?
Dan
Stanley Logie?
Danley's. Yep, this is to fill Denley's, because he can't sit on two
Elected.
elected boards. So he had to resign, so this is to fill Denley's
Okay.
position. So I'll make a motion to appoint Lane Hanson from St. Regis to fulfill Denley's term.
I would second that. All in favor of appointing Lane Hanson to the Conservation District, say aye.
I
Aye.